Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to TimeShot. It's been quite a while since I have said those words, not counting the first episode of Season 3, in which I did not have my own introduction. I believe the last time I recorded an actual TimeShot episode was... oh, it's probably been almost 2 years at this point, because the last video I recorded was the one that announced that I was going to start streaming, which of course I only did for about a month. And then kind of paused and didn't do it anymore, and I have been on hiatus since then. And actually, I think 2019 was the first year in the history of my YouTube channel that I have not posted a single video, which is a little sad, but that's just how things go. That's how life goes, and we're here now and getting started with some new stuff, so that's pretty exciting. And of course, I did post a video earlier this year. I posted UHC highlights from Season 20 of TimeShot UHC, so go check that out if you haven't already. And actually, what's funny is right after I posted that video, I meant to come back and keep doing TimeShot again, and just never quite got into it. I started playing, I did a couple things, and never really got going again. It wasn't until we actually started Season 3 here that I really got into things again. And yeah, here we are in Spawn Town. Things have changed quite a bit since my earlier video. I believe that video ended a little abruptly with me digging down in my Mineshaft over there, which we'll visit in a moment here once we've had a chance to look at everything else. But yeah, I had meant to record like a little intro and a little outro for that video, but I didn't quite get to, and I wanted to get the video out a little sooner if possible, just to have it out there. So just kind of uploaded it without context, and that was the way it was, and that's the way it is. So I guess to start with, we will start with the thing I was working on near the end of that first video there, which was my Mineshaft, which is actually now a public mine. This is actually the first place I dug down, which is kind of funny that I actually turned it into something. And this is also where April, Mara, and I were going caving early in the first day there. But I ended up digging out this whole thing. Just got some temporary storage places up here. I've been making good use of these lanterns. These were not in the game last time I played, and I definitely do love them. They're good for this kind of build, so I do like them quite a bit. Some people here putting some signs up on my stuff, but that's kind of what happens when you make your build a public build. Let's go say hi to Ice real quick. This is what I love about a new season, is there's lots of people on. It's awesome. Okay, so we can go ahead and hop down here, be a little careful not to hit the edges. And this is the Mineshaft itself, the public Mineshaft, which may eventually become the mindless mine, which was a thing from Season 2, I think. I know it was on Season 2. I don't know if they had the mindless mine in Season 1 because I didn't watch a whole lot of TimeShot in Season 1. But, yeah, so this is our Mineshaft, and it looks like some people have done some weird things here. What on earth is this? What the heck is this? Who is putting these random dark hallways? It's like a... what? You've got to make a straight line when you dig a strip mine. That's like the whole point of it. What are people doing? I know some people have made use of this because I can tell... yeah, this one was not me because someone didn't light it up very well. Because I always light on the right side, and I always make sure my mine shafts are lit up very well. And also I always bridge over gaps like that. So... people have been making good use of it, which is good. As I was saying, it may become the mindless mine, which is something I did not partake in Season 2, I think partially because things were already in the process of dying off when I joined the server, so didn't really get a chance to do that. So hopefully we can get something like that going. For those who don't know, mindless mine is basically when you get a couple of TimeShotters together in a group call, do some strip mining, and talk about topics, almost like a podcast. Speaking of which, we did have a podcast at one point that we got one episode into and never continued, so that's pretty cool. Got a little skylight up here. I gotta fix up the ceiling and maybe put a different kind of block in the ceiling here. I'm not 100% sure just yet what I want to do with that. I do know that I want to dig out these walls and put something there. I have two ideas. The first idea is to dig out these walls and replace them with fish tanks because I never finished my aquarium in Season 2 of TimeShot. And I don't know, it could be a neat place to put aquarium tanks kind of along the sides of the walls here. It might not fit the theme, though. The theme is kind of more of a rustic kind of mine, and I don't know that having aquariums in the walls is really, going with that theme. So my other idea was to kind of put some glass and like some openings and kind of build out some caves inside there. And then maybe like make it look like there's mines kind of behind the walls and that kind of stuff. Smooth stone out some of the walls in places, kind of leave little gaps so you can see the mines, and then also have like, especially like an area like here, from like here to here, have like a minecart track going across and like a minecart that's like on a loop that goes back and forth, just to give it a little life down here. I think that could be cool. That might be something we do at some point. But obviously there is quite a bit of work still to do on this build. I also kind of want to put a minecart in going down the staircase, possibly, because I already have an easy way to get down, which is dropping into the water there, but we don't have an easy way to get back up yet. And I'll probably put in a water elevator, which is not something I've done before, but I'm sure it can't be too hard to figure out. But my initial thought was to put a minecart track, like maybe on the far side, the left side over here, going up, but I think people would probably appreciate the water elevator a little more because it's faster. So yeah, that is the public mineshaft and also my temporary storage place. Moving on out to the rest of spawn. Actually, let's go ahead and sleep real quick. This is a nice thing. We actually have I think it's called a data pack that lets us sleep. Even if there's multiple people on, one person can sleep and pass the night, which is nice. I think most of the time people don't really care about keeping it night, so there's really no reason not to be able to just have one person pass the night, especially if other people are working inside or underground or something like that and they don't have to worry about mobs at all. So anyways, my other build here, I've been working on the docks because I thought it'd be a really cool idea to have the whole spawn area be built kind of like on docks and have like the primary mode of transportation around spawn into people's bases would be by boat. So, which is why I like the seed so much, is because it's right on the ocean. If you go out this way, I know there's a desert. The desert's either over there, and then the opposite direction is a birch forest, and then there's like a cool little mountain island over there that I think a couple people expressed interest in. I don't know if anybody's building there just yet. I haven't had a chance to check everything out just yet. So yeah, these are the docks. I think they'll turn out pretty all right. I think I want to do a little bit more detail work along them. Maybe put some kind of like, I don't know, storage, I don't know, something that makes it look like it's a shipyard. There's like cargo being unloaded, because I've got over here, as the sign says, Addy's dock. This is my dock over here, where I'm building a ship. I've actually never built a ship in Minecraft before, so I wanted to give it a shot. I'm like kind of basing it off of something I saw on Reddit, so it's not entirely my own design because I'm not actually that great a builder myself, to be honest, at least in my opinion. But this should be interesting. I'm still working on it. I actually need to change the height of this mast a little bit because it's a little too low. I think that one's a pretty good height, and then there'll be one more behind it, and then there'll be a cabin. And I kind of intend to make this my spawn base. So my storage for spawn will be in the hull of the ship, and then I'll have kind of my bedroom in the cabin up here. And I think it's going to be a nice, unique kind of spawn base. Nothing too crazy, too fancy, but it should be pretty neat. And if I like building ships, I might try and build another one. I know we have some other space around here, although this water's not very deep. There might be some space over there maybe. Or we could just keep wrapping this dock around and see what happens there. Because obviously there's not a whole lot of space over this way with an island right there. So I think I kind of picked the best spot to build a ship, even though it's kind of like right in the middle of spawn. But at least that forces me to build it well, because it's going to be kind of a focal point of spawn, and I don't want the focal point of spawn to be an ugly build. Everybody's going to come in and do their streams, do their videos, and be like, yeah, there's Addy's ugly boat, we got to look at that all day, every day. I wish we'd just ban him from the server. But yeah, and then, let's see, that's all for my builds that I've been working on so far. Would probably have a little bit more, but I was actually out of town this past weekend for 4th of July, visiting the in-laws, so didn't have a chance to get on this past weekend and work on this. But yeah, now we're back at it, and I do believe we're getting a little low on wood, because I wanted to work a little more on the ship here, but I think we're kind of running out of... I need some spruce wood, and I don't really think I need much more dark oak. I think I have plenty of dark oak, because I mostly use that on the underside of the ship. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any spruce wood. I might have had some up there. But what we are going to do is we're going to head out, and I guess on our way to the taiga area that I like to do some tree chopping at. We'll also pass by a couple people's bases, and I can kind of point those out as we go. And then also, I think the topic of discussion for today's video is probably going to be where the heck I've been. Because obviously I've gone on quite the hiatus from doing YouTube or even having any kind of presence on social media of any kind, at least for my online persona of Atyrum. Not to say I've been absent from social media among my real life friends, but that's a completely different topic. But yeah, over here, I'm actually not sure whose base this is. It looks like they're using the new black stone bricks from the Nether. I actually have not been to the Nether recently, which is kind of funny because part of the reason we restarted the server was to get the new Nether, since that's a new thing in the current incarnation of Minecraft. But I still have not even gone into the Nether at all, so that is something that is available to check out in a later video. I will probably check it out and figure out what I'm doing before I go in, rather than kind of going in blind, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see me stumble around and fool around with stuff. I'd rather kind of go in and knowing what I'm doing and knowing what I'm trying to do, and I have not had a chance to figure out what's going on with all that. So this is Torts Island over here, and I believe he said he was rebuilding his house from Season 1 of TimeShot, which was a turtle that I think actually someone else made for him. I think someone's going to correct me in the comments. I think Code made his house, and he made Code's house? Or something like that. It was something like that. I didn't watch a whole lot of TimeShot back then. I mean, I knew Tort from before TimeShot, so I caught his videos here and there, but I didn't really watch anyone else's videos at that point, so I'm not real familiar with that part of TimeShot history, if you will. Alright, so anyways, this is the Mega Taiga where I usually go to chop down trees, because I find that the fastest way to get spruce wood is to grab one of these big old trees right here and kind of spiral staircase your way up and chop down from the top. Which is actually what I do with jungle trees too, although I don't really chop down jungle trees typically because jungle wood is kind of ugly. And this looks like a village structure, but I don't think it is. I think, ooh. Oh, hello. Maybe this is this a village? That looks like village generation right there. Maybe this was a village. I do know that's Wynn's hut over there. And I know there was something going on with her doors during the first episode, the first day on the server. I actually have not checked out. I haven't gotten close enough to actually see this before. So I think the issue was that people didn't like that the doors were off center, which I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I'm not saying, I don't know. I don't want to. I say it's fine, like, oh, it's fine. It's okay. It's not that bad. What the heck is that? Oh, this is Enderman? What? What is he doing down there? Okay, yeah, I think it looks good. I'm not going to complain about it, and I don't want to say it doesn't look bad, because if I say it doesn't look bad, that implies it actually kind of does, as strange as that sounds. Anyways, getting on to the topic of discussion for today, as we get over here and actually chop down some wood. So where I've been. So, as I said earlier, the last TimeShot episode I really did was back in 2018. I think it was September, maybe, that I made that video. Because I know I started streaming in September, and then I kind of streamed from September to October, and then actually ended up taking a break, which I did not intend to be a permanent break. It kind of turned into one for various reasons, and actually I don't really have a good excuse for why that turned into a permanent break at that point. But yeah, so basically, for those who don't know, one of my hobbies is creative writing. I've always had this dream of writing and publishing a novel. So one thing that I like to do every November is called National Novel Writing Month, which is basically this challenge to write a 50,000 word novel in a single month. And you basically have a word goal of trying to get 1,667 words a day to get you to that goal. And you also meet up with other people doing the challenge if you want in your communities and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun, and it actually gets me motivated to do a lot of writing, which is great, because sometimes I have trouble motivating myself to write, even though once I sit down, I'm always, real into it. I have a lot of fun writing, but sometimes it's just hard to get that initial motivation going, which, funny enough, I guess is probably the same issue I have sometimes with recording videos, but that's just kind of the way it is. But anyways, so that was just intended to be a temporary break, and I always am bad at communicating that I'm actually going to be gone from videos and streaming and all that kind of stuff for a period of time. And I kept intending to make a little video explaining where I was and when I'd be back. And I never did that, and I never came back after that, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I did complete the 50,000 words, although I did not complete that story, because 50,000 words is not really enough to tell a complete story for the most part, for me at least. I know some people write shorter, novellas and stuff like that, but I tend to be more of a longer kind of novel or series kind of writing person. I say, even though I haven't really finished all that many stories, but yeah, I hesitate to call myself a writer. I tend to say I enjoy writing instead, and I do it for fun because I haven't finished enough projects, and I have not been published yet, or even gotten close to the point of wanting to be published. So I don't really call myself a writer. I just say it's a hobby. It's something I do for fun. Even though, my ultimate goal with it and ambition with it is to eventually get published with it. But so that kind of explains my absence during November, why I kind of quit streaming for a little bit there. After that, I think it was probably just the holidays and all that kind of stuff. And I kept telling myself, oh yeah, I'll come back to it after that. And it was also a combination of that and also the fact that the server was kind of slow at the time. There was a decent amount going on because when I started streaming was when the aquatic update came out, and that was something that brought a lot of new life to the server. People joined back on so they could check out the new ocean biomes and all the cool stuff. And of course I had to get in and get started on working on an aquarium because I thought that'd be a cool thing to do with all the new stuff. We may have to pass the night here real quick, but yeah, I think things kind of did die off pretty quick again after that. So at that point I kind of wasn't really feeling the motivation, and also there was kind of this, I don't know, every time I looked at my aquarium in its I guess its final state, because I never quite finished it, all I could think was like, I don't know, it was just a big ugly building. And actually I had recorded part of a video at one point when I was planning on continuing on season 2 before we even thought about doing season 3 at some point during my hiatus. But it's just such an ugly building, and I just don't know where I went wrong with it. I kept telling myself, oh, I just need to do some more decorating with it. I just need to add some more detail to the outside of it. Nope, I don't have any villagers. But it was just so much work to get to that point that every time I thought about it, it just killed any motivation I had, because I knew what I needed to do my detailing work was a whole bunch of the blocks from the Guardian, the Guardian Farm, the Guardian Temple. See, it's been so long since I played Minecraft, I've forgotten what all this stuff is called. The Sea Temple where the Guardians live, all the blocks, Prismarine, that's what it's called. Prismarine. I needed a lot of Prismarine because that was kind of what I intended to use to build, and in fact what I had started to use to build the inside of the aquarium. But I knew I needed a lot of that, and I was AFKing for it all the time, but then sometimes I'd forget to, and I'd get in the mood to build, and I realized I didn't have enough to really get anywhere. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just AFK for a little bit, but then it'd be a slow process, and the AFKing was not getting me Prismarine as fast as I'd like to. And it was just kind of a cycle of, well, if I get on the server, then I have to AFK for blocks, and then once I have AFK for blocks, then I'm going to do all this detailing work, and it's not going to be enough because it takes a lot of Prismarine to, flesh out such a big structure. And I don't know, I think I kind of got in a little over my head on that project, which is, I mean, it's actually probably smaller than some of the other builds I've done before, but there's just something about the scale of it that kept discouraging me from coming back to playing. So I think that might be part of the reason. I kind of felt like if I came back, I would kind of be obligated to finish that. I feel like I could never just like leave it and build something else. Although at one point that was kind of my intention, was to leave Spawn Town and just go work on something else somewhere else. But I just couldn't bring myself back to go work on it again. And then, of course, last year, in June, my wife and I welcomed a baby boy into the world, so I am now a father. And that was all fun and whatnot, and still is fun. He's actually a year old now. And that's another thing that I actually did not really announce to anyone. I mentioned it to fellow TimeShot members, but then other than that, I didn't announce it on my channel. I kept meaning to kind of put a video out explaining, hey, we had a baby. It's going to be a while before I'm, wanting to make content or, play Minecraft again, but never really got quite around to doing that, and the days and months kind of just slipped past, and I kind of forgot about it for a while. And yeah, just been busy with, you know, I actually had I've switched jobs recently, but I was working. I should probably bump back a little bit. So my wife and I were living in a town, or a city, I guess, about an hour south of where I grew up. And then my wife graduated college in December 2018, so the December before our son was born, and ended up getting a job up in my hometown, more or less, I guess, a suburb, you know, whatnot. But so we ended up moving back up to my hometown, but I kept my job down in the city an hour south of us. I'm trying to avoid saying names because I don't want to pinpoint exactly where I live for reasons. I know I'm not like a huge YouTuber, and I know I probably shouldn't expect rabid fans to show up at my house if I, you know, say where I live, but I still would rather keep that private. But anyway, so I had like an hour commute to get to work and to get back again, so that was a contributor to me not having time, combined with, you know, having a son, having a family, and all that kind of stuff, you know, making it hard to find time to make videos, play Minecraft, play video games, period. Adds to the fact that I had to work a lot of long days. There were some days I was getting to work at 4 a.m., which meant I had to wake up at like 2:30 and drive an hour to work, and then I'd be staying until, you know, 6 p.m. or something like that. I'd get home at 7, and some days I wouldn't even see my son because he would be still sleeping when I left, and he would be back in bed by the time I got home. And eventually got a little tired of the drive and ended up finding a job closer to home, which I actually do quite like. I was a little hesitant because I had liked my previous job so much, and I didn't really want to leave that because I was worried I wouldn't be able to find somewhere I liked quite as much. Oh, what's going on with my mouse? That was weird. See, my mouse didn't want to cooperate with me for a second. But I like my current job, and I like my coworkers and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of brings us to where we are right now. I've been at that job since February, and we have been living in my hometown again, which is nice because we live close to family. And up until actually today, we had family watching my son almost every day while my wife and I are at work. Just this week, we decided to start doing daycare three days a week, which is interesting experience. It's pretty neat because his daycare actually has an app that lets us see how he's doing. Actually, they actually tell us when he has diaper changes, and they send us pictures of him. They tell us what he ate and when he ate, when he napped, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, parenthood has been fun, but I'll try not to get too much into that. I know not everybody cares, and obviously you came here to watch me play Minecraft, not to listen to my parenting advice or what have you. So anyways, that kind of explains where I've been, I believe, for the past year and a half to almost 2 years. As for plans going forward, as I mentioned, a little short on time just because of the fact that I do have a kid now. I can record videos late at night, but I guess I should probably explain kind of the way I see it is I kind of have a priority of what things are important to do for me during the day and whatnot. And I guess priority number 1 would be family, priority number 2 would be work. And so basically, I work during the day, I come home, my family has dinner, and my son usually goes to bed around 7:30, 8-ish, and then I usually have a couple hours after that to do as I will, unless my wife and I are planning on doing something that evening. So what I've been doing recently is I usually devote an hour every day to working on my writing because I want to make sure I get some progress on that because it's something that I really want to eventually be finding a publisher for. But so that's kind of priority number 3. And then priority number 4 would be gaming or making videos or, you know, all this kind of stuff. So as you can see, that doesn't really leave me room to be doing videos, you know, all the time. I'm not going to be posting probably more than 1 video a week, I would say. And I'm not sure how much video content you guys are going to see on my YouTube channel other than TimeShot videos. Oh, hey, Tort. But I know I have some things I wanted to do, some video series on other games that I would like to... are you shooting at me? Is he shooting at me? You don't want to mess with me, Tort. I am Mr. Zero Deaths on the server right now, and I should probably not call attention to that, but yeah, you probably don't want to mess with me. But yeah, so where was I? Tor, you threw me off. I was on a thing there. I was on a thing and I was going somewhere, and now I'm not. But yeah, anyways, so YouTubing and doing videos and all that kind of stuff is a little lower on the priority list. Probably will not be doing streams again just because my recording time tends to be late at night, and I imagine that kind of screws with things for people who are watching from Europe or who are watching from other, countries, and also people who don't want to stay up until 11 or 12 at night watching a stream of someone play Minecraft. So likely won't be any more streams going forward. It's just going to be videos here and there. There'll be some videos like this one today where I just kind of, go on a random tangent about some topic. There will probably be some videos more akin to the last episode, either group recordings that I cut down into a digestible size, or solo videos where I kind of record over a period of time and just kind of edit it all together, all my building segments and stuff like that, so it's a little more interesting. So it's not just me placing block after block and being boring. Although there will be some of that if I'm doing more of kind of talky episodes. But we'll see. Gonna try and keep the video somewhere between like 15 to 25 minutes maybe. I can see this one's going past 25 minutes, but that's okay. But yeah, so that'll probably do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a while since I've been around, but I will hopefully be around for some time longer. Alright then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.